Well, hello there. We're back, and it's Thursday night, so it's Thursday night story time. Yeah, we're going to take a brief reprieve from Redemption of a Lost Soul and walk down story timeline lane. Gonna be a great night. So, enough of that. Let's get to that wonderful thing called wisdom that God gives us. And I was thinking about um, what we've been doing so far, and we've talked about a lot of different things. I'm going to give you another meditation tonight. It's a simple one, but I'm going to teach you something in the same place, something I learned. I don't know how it quite works, but I know it works. It seems to be a psychological trigger to comfort when you do this. Here you are, like this. Hold it here. Pull yourself in, and then just allow. Accept, trust, open, release, arrive, joy. That's it. That's what I'm giving you tonight. Up to you if you use it, but it works. What are you doing? You're allowing God. You're accepting what God is doing. You're trusting God. You're opening to God. It's the heartbeat of God. That's what I was told. I believe it. We'll leave it there. When you well, if you wish, we'll try that one a little bit differently than that came out. If you wish to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me at Start Healing. Well, there we go again. We blew it. Let me try that again. Eric at starthealing.me, Eric at starthealing.me, Eric at starthealing.me. And you just reach out to me and send me an email, and I'll send you a link. You take that link and book an appointment. That one is without charge. We'll just get to know each other and see if I'm part of your healing puzzle. Let's find out. Okay, the story, Thursday night story, any story. Feel like somebody's sitting there with a wheel going. Oh, okay, that'll be an interesting one for the night. I think a little bit of laughter may come out of it. Who knows? This is an absolute fiction. I'll let you know that. It's one of my earlier stories. Um, it's not the best one I've ever put together, not the worst one I've ever put together. I seem to have a bit of a fur problem. It's normal. But I could go and get clipped today, so I look a little better. Anyway, here we go. Um, Her name was Faded Rose. At least that's what she went by at the saloon in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's actually what it was called, the middle of nowhere. Yes. No, it wasn't a western town particularly, but her saloon was western, yes. But the rest of it, well, it kind of showed up the same as the saloon. And one morning she went to bed and she was in Oklahoma in back in those days where they had the westerns and the gunfights and all those fun stuff, and poop, now she's here. Apparently, she asked an incorrect question according to the Inquisitor that met her and said, "You have been banished." Huh? What did I do? I just asked something about, well, it doesn't matter. So I'm stuck here. Yeah, this is it. And over time, it's become a little place, middle of nowhere. I don't know where they are. Some people have tried to leave and ended up back, so that doesn't work. She knows that. She's asked God about it, and God says, "You're right where you belong." Yes, she ran a saloon, she sold liquor, and she knows God. It's weird, she even admits it, but that's what she did. Well, there aren't no supplies here, so, except for water and, well, food, if you call it that. She's learned to cook it, though. and people like the way she cooks it. Thank goodness. Somehow her spices made it, but the rest of her larder didn't. She has found beasts, and she does know how to hunt. Of course, there's better hunters than her, and they know out there hunting. So, they gotta watch how far they go out or they end up back. It's a weird world. All exiles, apparently, from different places at times, spaces. She doesn't quite understand it, but there is a law system here. Um, he just calls himself Bowler, as in bowler hat that he wears. That's his name, Bowler. Simple, to the point, and he looks after policing things and making sure nothing horrible happens, at least most of the time. And he's got a person that works with him, female, I think, from different species than he is. He's definitely human. He talks about a night where he asked a question. Well, yeah, you know what happens with those, right? Poof. Ah, no, not here. But yeah, his whole building is here. Everybody in the building is here. Yeah, well, the 15 people that were there doing late nights, boy, they should have been doing late nights that night. The whole building moved. It's a seven-story building in the middle of a, well, catacomb of other buildings from different places, times, streams, dimensions, I guess. She goes, wow, there goes my mind again, wandering around. I better go find the water and bless it so they have something to drink when they get back. Something with a little bit of kick from God. Since we don't have alcohol, we can't even make alcohol. There aren't even plants. There's these weird tubers that if you cook them the right way, well, they work, keep you alive. And those beasts out there, well, they don't look like deer or anything like that. But if you work with your spices, which seem to never run out, which I'm thankful to God for, I don't think the fellow that talked to me ever wanted me to have anything, wanted me to die, I think. But I didn't. Nice inquisitor. But he's inquisitive, right? So anyway, I am here working on my food, cooking some tubers that don't taste like much, but if you throw the right spices at them, they might be okay. And he's out, well, he and another she, and I don't know what brand or where they came from. They don't look human, so they aren't from there. Are out hunting at the moment. These slightly large animals that could turn on you and kill you instantly if you don't watch it, but you don't have to worry about that either. Apparently, if you die, you're back in your house naked. It's always naked. That's a really bad thing for a lot of people, especially if they have more than one person living in the house that's not used to seeing the other person naked. But that's what happens. So you attempt to leave that out of your situation. But it happens. It's happened to me a couple of times when I was hunting. Right in the middle of the saloon. And it's full. Well, dears and darlings, excuse me a minute, I gotta find some clothes. What else could you do? You know? Sooner or later, everybody's gonna end up at my saloon or some saloon somewhere. There's a few of them around here. We all don't have alcohol, but we all pray over it, and God gives it joy and peace and wonder, and we all ask God why we're here, and don't get much of an answer for that. So on Sunday, I open the good book and we all gather together here. But things do happen for Bowler and he has to deal with them because he is like been told by the Inquisitor that he is the uh, detective, not a sheriff, not something else, but a detective. And he runs a detective agency, so that makes sense. Um, the lady didn't come in the building. She was in the building next door, which when his building landed had a bit of a catastrophe. The Inquisitor didn't think that was terrible, nor did it fix itself. And she was from a different zone of worlds. And yeah, well, yeah. I could describe her, but everybody just calls her Grasshopper because that's kind of what she looks like. Except she's humanoid, but well, her head isn't like a grasshopper, but her arms are. But she's quite pleasant and quite good at finding out what's going on in our world that isn't quite right. And our place expands every once in a while when a new building comes in, like that. Thud! Oh, yeah, there's one. Oh boy, I wonder who these guys are. Oh, when you look at it, they got a bunch of, bullies. How can you tell? Well, they're strutting out of there like they own the place. Bowler will introduce them to the reality that they don't. And that lady will certainly give them their comeuppance if they need it. And of course they will. Hmm. Look at that. They already got into an argument with another guy. Oh, there's Bowler. He'll sort this out. He just looks at them and he goes, welcome to the middle of nowhere. There are rules. You're breaking them. If you continue to break them, I'm going to break something. Oh, that's Bowler. He's simple, to the point. Well, we are, yeah, whatever. Probably spoke the wrong words and you ended up here, and there's the Inquisitor. He'll explain this all to you. Well, I'm gonna go after you, and he swings at Bowler. Bowler ducks and whacks him in the. Well, yeah, well, there's that. He ain't gonna get up for a while. Uh, wow. That particular organ is right in that particular spot, huh? Hmm. Not a good design, guys. Not a good design. Just letting you know. Alex Quisitor is going to have a little talk with him and drags the other guy back to the. Oh, looks like a nice stately mansion of some sort. That would have been a cattle rancher's mansion at some point. Not from my era. Few eras forward, but I can still see a mansion when I see a mansion, and I see pretty boys when I see pretty boys. Yeah, they are. Well, the Inquisitor didn't do a good job as usual. Doesn't matter. Here they come. Bowlers behind them, making sure they behave. They walk in. We want a drink. It's a saloon, right? We want a drink. Drink. Well, don't have no alcohol. Doesn't exist here. No plans to make it. Nothing that you can. Well, even if you try to rot something into some sort of rot gut, you ain't gonna get nothing. Just letting you know. But there's a drink here you could have. It's made everybody feel good that drinks it. She puts out that looks like water. Oh yeah, but it has a bit of a kick. Especially if you're not quite connected with the one I'm connected with. And they all take a drink and end up on the floor. Plunk, plunk, splat. Ah. Boulder, you want to put them back in their house? Maybe they'll wake up. Maybe they'll feel better. Uh, yes, faded Rose. She chuckles. Bowler tips his hat, and Grasshopper comes in and goes, Did I miss something? Yeah, they fell over. Fudge. Okay, we'll take them back. They'll get the rules eventually. I hope. This is how it goes here. Might visit again, eh? Maybe. Who knows? You might end up one day with your house and household and people and bits and funk in the middle of nowhere. Just know this. And yeah, it's a little bit of a short story. Fading Rose is looking, going, oh, there's more to tell. Always more to tell. There's that moment when, yeah, I know. We can talk about that one another time. So let's leave it there. So let's have a blessing of joy and peace and wonder. Definitely all those things. Invention, nourishment flow, always has. Big one. All those things that that paintbrush in God's hand's going to paint for you. Never know what that is, but it's always good. So according to God's will and wish, and according to your will and wish, it can be. So we come before you, Father, and you give us a wee story. Didn't go far, didn't do much. There was just some things happening. Maybe a background. Maybe something coming up that's going to be more of a story for next time. Another Thursday, another place. We ask you to push back the darkness. If this is the first time or the 100th time, it's the first time, let them find that Roman road. If it's the 100th time, take them deeper. We always are so amazed and wondered at the way you move and the way you do. And you take a simple story like this, which wasn't much at all, and yet you heal someone with it. That's what we always see. So standing in courage and strength, I'm glad that you're giving it to us. I'm glad that you give us grace and mercy as well as we go. And we say thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor, respect, allowing all glory to flow. Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. So, you be blessed. And we will talk to you again soon. Blessings again.